There's a big carrot being dangled in front of all of the players out there, because to go and have a shot at the Olympic champions in your quest for World Championship gold truly is a career highlight. Now, before we get down and dirty in the sand, let's have a quick look at the referees. Salvador Carcarez from Colombia, first referee. Second referee, Nina Hobie, local referee from Vienna here in Austria. Now, Dane, let's have a close look at the four players out on court, because there's some big difference in sizes, experience and characteristic out on court.
First of all, let's start with Lauren Fendrick, one of the best blockers around on the AVP American Tour, voted best blocker in 2014 and in 2016. If she can get control of the airspace at the net going up against Pavan, then the United States could be in good shape. How about her partner, the 35-year-old, 185-centimeter April Ross, who got a bronze medal in 2016 with Carrie Walsh-Jennings and a silver medal in 2012 with her former partner, Jen Kesey. One of the best players in the United States, no question, if not the best. Across the net, the 30-year-old, 196-centimeter Sarah Pavan, the tallest female player in the tournament, and she's only been playing on the beach for the last 4 seasons. An absolute force on the indoor circuit professionally, and has transferred those skills out here on the beach. Her partner, the defensive specialist, the youngster. She is the future of Canadian volleyball, no question about it, and that is Melissa Humana-Paredes, the 2014 Rookie of the Year on the FIVB Tour. This team playing with all sorts of confidence. I believe that they are the favorite going in. They are the 7th seed, the United States seeded 14.
Dane, both these teams come in with a 6-0 win record. That's so impressive. But I think you've called it perfectly. The Canadians are yet to drop a set. And we're here at the World Championships. This is not a 1, 2, 3 or 4-star event. This is the biggest tournament of the season, and they still haven't dropped one. That, of course, is Canada.
Yeah, that says a lot. A perfect record for the last 8 days. We're in day 8 of 10 at this World Championship. And already Sarah Pavan everywhere up at the net. That's going to be a major issue for the United States. Can they get around the big block of Sarah Pavan? Look at her up and over. And I say it every time she gets on the court. This is, I'll call it Sarah Pavan 2.0. The 1.0 version a couple years ago, not nearly as strong, not nearly as tenacious. Right now, Sarah Pavan has been on fire.
Oh, look at this. Giving the rest of the players on court a lesson in how to block at the net. Spectacular start from Sarah Pavan. Canada go into a very quick 2-0 lead. We mustn't forget, Dane, that both these teams have played their quarterfinal matches earlier today. This is their second match of the day out in the heat of Vienna.
Wow! Again, Sarah Pavan with a stuff block. We knew that she was going to give the Americans all sorts of fits. But I'll tell you what, if the adjustment is not made, it is going to be a long afternoon for Lauren Fendrick.
Now, April Ross needs to draw on her experience here. April Ross has been a double Olympic medalist. She's been in the chase at the business end of many World Championships before now, including winning the gold with Jen Kesey, I should say, in Stavanger back in 2009. But April Ross is going to need to dig deep, because Canada have come out firing on all cylinders.
United States opts to go to Humana-Paredes, and she tries to use the block out of bounds, but Lauren Fendrick not going to be fooled right there. And point for the United States, so they get one back. A little open hand regardless. You can't open hand throw the ball on the beach. You can do that in indoor, but it's very difficult for the ref to see.
It's a nice set from Pavan. Humana-Paredes, if she gets them set up as perfectly as that, will miss very few. The break stays with Canada.
Humana-Paredes, a real spectacular defender, really poised, and the combination with Sarah Pavan has been excellent.
Oh, well, Well, that's a good shot from April Ross. Sarah Pavan mistimed that one. Didn't have her hands or feet in the right place at the right time. 7 points on the board. The side switch quite important this time of night on centre court, Dane, as the sun starts to set to the right of the Red Bull Arena.
Yeah, there's still those shadows on the court, so sometimes the sun's in your eyes, sometimes you're in the shadow. In about, I don't know, 20 minutes, the sun probably will be completely gone, and then it'll be a little easier on the court. Nice cover by Humana-Paredes.
Good play at the net from Fendrick. Didn't quite get enough height on that one from Fendrick. I'm a big fan of this Humana-Paredes. She stepped in for Heather Bansley, who became a big star very quickly on the FIVB World Tour. And Humana-Paredes has had a sensational tournament.
Yeah, well, if you know the history, Sarah Pavan and Heather Bansley played together for the last 4 years. You know, that was Sarah Pavan's first beach partner as a professional, and they were strong. They finished 5th in the 2016 Olympics, but right after a quad is over, those 4 years going into the Olympics, you see a lot of switches happen. And Sarah Pavan thought it was best to make a move. She picked up Melissa Humana-Paredes, and it seems like the chemistry is extremely strong. The last 4 tournaments that they've been to, they've made it to the semifinals.
They've been in the Final Four in every tournament since May, to be precise. And I like Humana-Paredes because she's only 24 years of age. She could be in another 2 Olympic cycles if she keeps injury-free.
Oh, there's not even a question about that. And that's why I call her the future of Canadian volleyball.
Yeah.
She'll have her choice of blockers out there. But remember, Sarah Pavan, she's got at least a couple Olympic games left in her if she wants it. Remember, she plays professionally, and she plays the opposite position. She's had an illustrious indoor career, not only in college, but the pro ranks. And you know what? The reason that she moved to beach volleyball is she didn't think she would have a chance to be an Olympian with a Canadian national team because the team just not that strong. So she switched her game to beach, and she's fulfilled her dream and made it to the Olympic Games.
Well, America call a timeout because Canada have run away with a 5-point early lead here. Sarah Pavan, brilliant at the net. She is, to be fair, one of the tallest women on the FIVB World Tour at 1m96, 6'5". But look at that, 100% stat rate with the serve, 3 successful blocks. That is pretty impressive for the opening session of a semi-final World Championship match.
Really is. You know what? That's why I say she's so much improved. I think her mental state is so strong. Physically, she's stronger, and she's just hungry. You can see it in her eyes. After she got that taste winning her first event in Porridge just a month ago, she hasn't looked back. She's medaled every time since.
Humana-Paredes serving Fendrick. Fendrick on the attack for the USA. She gets it over the block for the first time of Pavan, but her partner Humana-Paredes is there, and Pavan still able to put it away. That's a little frustrating for the Americans. They called the timeout to try and break the rhythm of the Canadian play, and it's failed. Therefore, 6 points clear now, and you can see how that's even given Humana-Paredes even more motivation to try and wrap this first set up nice and early. There's another spectacular save from the young Canadian. April Ross covers nicely at the back. Pavan's hands are beaten this time.
Canada, you can just tell their game plan is to keep that ball away from April Ross. Humana-Paredes sacrificing getting that ball up in the air, but April Ross so efficient at getting the ball to the ground. There's a great serve by April Ross, one of the best servers in the international game.
Yes, April Ross has got to be the secret weapon for the United States of America, and that is why, as Dane has perfectly pointed out, they will try and do everything they can to keep her out of the match, including serving everything to Fendrick. But service with the USA right now, 5-9. April Ross serving short to Pavan. Pavan not having the speed of movement to get to the front of court and save that.
such a beautiful short serve right there by the United States. April Ross, a 4-time server of the year on the FIVB Tour. Now Canada in more trouble.
Another good save from April Ross. Cut shot, but Humana-Paredes covers it. Canada scramble. Canada put another point on the board. Superb play from all 4 ladies on court. But once again, Canada come out on top.
Most impressive was Sarah Pavan's set. Here you go, April Ross, she tries a cut shot. Humana-Paredes is there, but look how low Pavan gets. That's not easy with that 6'5" frame, and then she puts the set in perfect position for Humana-Paredes. April Ross, what she's trying to do is relieve some of the pressure from Lauren Fendrick. She's trying to go over on 2 and be an offensive force, but so far it's been a bit troubling for the United States. April Ross traditionally playing on the left side, Lauren Fendrick on the right side. Early on, you know, after those first few points, they switched. They'll switch midway through. April will become a right-sider, Lauren a left-sider, just to mix things up and relieve some of that pressure, because blocking, Sarah Pavan has been successful against Fendrick.
Oh, good call from Fendrick. Great cover from both defenders here. Humana-Paredes, a little help from the net. April Ross attacks. Block from Pavan. Tremendous play again. All 4 playing the best volleyball they've played throughout the tournament. It's just that Canada are able to finish it with this spectacular Pavan block.
Pavan just a wall at the net. So hard to get around. Just getting around her is a challenge, and Humana-Paredes playing spectacular defense in the backcourt really has made this team something special. Look at Lauren Fendrick going up high, hitting that ball nicely cross court. That's what you have to do, the smart shot. Don't challenge Sarah Pavan straight up. Try to go around her. If she's having success against you, make her read left and right.
4-point clear advantage for Canada. Oh, ace serve from April Ross. Right down the middle, near perfection. Couldn't have come at a more important time for the USA. It's the technical timeout. 21 points total on the board, 30-second break, and a chance now for America to just reassess the damage so far, because there are times when you think the Americans could actually stop Canada here as the pre-match favorites.
They absolutely can, you're right. But April Ross, how about her taking everything into her own hands? She's got 3 aces as we go into the Red Bull center court graphics. Canada serve placement right here, going to favor the right side where Lauren Fendrick is. Remember, I told you about the strategy. If Fendrick gets in too much trouble, Ross and Fendrick will flip sides. Ross will go to the right, Fendrick to the left. But the game plan for Canada is trying to pinpoint Lauren Fendrick at the moment.
Pinpoint Lauren Fendrick, Dane, to keep April Ross out of the game. She's the star player of the USA, most experienced, most accomplished, but perhaps most confident of this pressure situation. And Canada are shutting her out the game, and they're shutting her out effectively.
Yeah, wouldn't you? I think, arguably, April Ross is the best player in the United States. She's physically strong. She has an extremely high volleyball IQ. So smart, she can take over matches single-handedly.
Oh, but look at Humana-Paredes. She fights for every ball like it's a championship decider. Good shot again. That left arm of Sarah Pavan swings it so beautifully. And you mentioned earlier, Dane, it's incredible to have watched over the past 2 or 3 seasons on the Swatch Beach Volleyball Major Series, Sarah Pavan become more confident and such an accomplished, rounded beach player now.
She's gotten that confidence there. April Ross, again, going off 1 foot, showing her athleticism. But you're absolutely right, Nick. Sarah Pavan is just an absolute force. She's a dominant blocker. She's learned to set the ball really well and put it in the right position for her partner. And she's aggressive in transition. I think that's been the biggest improvement.
Fendrick with service, serving Sarah Pavan. There's the set and the attack. Well left by Team USA. April Ross can do no wrong at the moment. Good play, and a very valuable point on the board for the American ladies.
Great leave by April Ross to let that one go.
Fendrick. Again, cross court to Pavan. Perfect set, Pavan attacks. There it is. Oh, that left arm again. She can hit with both.
Yeah, she's so accurate with her shots. That time she kind of downshifts, hits at about 70%, but away from the defender.
14-11, Humana-Paredes still going to Fendrick, trying to keep April Ross out of this match. Pavan is beaten at the net. That will boost Fendrick's confidence. Floats that one over the Canadian's hands.
Lauren Fendrick with a great court vision right there over the net. She's got that experience. A 19th place in the 2016 Rio Olympic Games with Brooke Sweat.
Well, 59 kilometers per hour on the float serve speed, and it's a float serve. It's still going over at nearly 40 miles per hour. Fantastic bit of tracking with the float serve speedometer there. Now, here we go with Pavan's service. This time she goes to April Ross, and look how she pays the price. I'm not sure whether that April Ross tactic is going to give Canada this first set.
Well, that's not their tactic. It's just April Ross enforcing her will and getting involved. She's chasing the ball. She wants to hit the ball on two. She's taking more court in serve reception. She's trying to relieve the pressure of Lauren Fendrick, and Canada hasn't made the adjustment. April Ross kind of taken over this first set.
I love it. You think you're going to cut me out this game? Think again, says April Ross. Oh, and there's a shank serve receive. On the float serve at 53 kilometers per hour, Pavan struggled with that. First error from the tall Canadian.
3 aces for April Ross. Now, Lauren Fendrick gets in the mix. The platform is there early, but it seems like she took her eye off the ball just as the float started to move.
Is this the USA coming back at Canada in the opening set? Another float serve at 54 kilometers per hour. America hustle to keep the ball up. That's too deep from April Ross, and the break advantage back with Canada, 16-14.
Yeah, right there. The roll shot to the backcourt. You just want to keep that in. Don't worry about the winner. 16-14 Canada.
Humana-Paredes with service. This young lady has had a sensational start to this opening set. Oh, well, commitment from Pavan. Celebration from the USA. They're back within 1 point on Canada.
What a great hit by Lauren Fendrick. Just ripping that arm. You know, it's got to be the arm, Nick. That arm is just moving so quickly. You can't teach a quick arm swing, and right there, Lauren Fendrick showed you how it's done.
Well, it must be the arm. You talk about the arm swing. There it is from Pavan. Another sensational swing. The southpaw from Canada puts that down to the sand. America have no answer to that kind of shot.
Absolutely not. But the United States have closed the gap. They do not want to come up short here in the first set.
Pavan's not going to scramble that one down. Well, at one point we thought Canada were going to walk away with this opening set, but now America dig deep, and they're playing the Canadians at their own tactical play.
Getting themselves back in the mix right now is the United States. Wow, a different team than we saw from the opening whistle for sure. Let's see what Pavan, that time instead of power, she must have tried a finesse shot over the top for the winner.
She's got it all.
Just a complete arsenal of shots by Sarah Pavan. Can she continue this and close out the set?
Hey, my light! Yeah!
Yes, good communication as well. You can hear April Ross yelling to Fendrick, line, 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 put it down. And she does exactly as she's told almost and executes precisely.
Yeah, when you set the ball, you want to take a look and then you give your hitter a call. That's why you hear the line, 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 or angle, angle, angle. It's about that last resort. If the hitter can't see, they listen to the call.
They could level the scores here. April Ross with service. Humana-Paredes is their target, 60 kilometers per hour on the float serve. That's 37 mph. And they have leveled the scores, 18 all. Down to the business end of the opening set, and the scores are tied.
So impressed with the way April Ross is playing right now. She's elevated her emotion, her fire, and it's really starting to be contagious. Lauren Fendrick stepping up her game as well, evening this score at 18. This would be a steal if the United States could come out with a victory. 8 of the first 12 points going to Canada, but ever since the United States has taken charge.
Like you're going to take Sarah's carding. Yeah. Well, because if she's running the wide and that, wrist away or come back? The same direction as you'd be moving out. Yeah. Or I could pull off on Melissa. No, take that way.
A lot of communication going on between the Americans right there. That was time well spent in that timeout. Let's see if they can come out and translate it. I couldn't quite get all the strategy there. 10 service attempts, 3 service aces for April Ross.
They are definitely fired up, running on adrenaline here, the USA. Nice float serve to Pavan, set from Humana-Paredes. Oh, Fendrick at the net just misses out. That was almost the perfect play from the USA.
Great form by Lauren Fendrick. Unfortunately, she gets tooled just out of bounds, and you see the emotion. She wished she could have that one back.
Pavan needs a big service here to go to set point. Serves Fendrick. April Ross goes over on 2. Humana-Paredes in the middle. Fendrick covered again by the young Canadian. Now she looks to finish it for set point. Oh, she just overhits the ball, way out of bounds, all tied at 19 all.
Well, you know what? She got a little bit underneath it, and then she had to jump backwards. And she tried to get on top of it and get a little spin, but it was too late. That approach too early, got under the ball, and that's the result. The ball ends up going a little bit long.
Lauren Fendrick, 35-year-old from Hermosa Beach, California, has a golden opportunity here with a pinpoint serve to give a set point to the USA. Humana-Paredes for Canada. Cross court. April Ross cannot get the arm or hand there. And it's a good side out for Canada. Set point for Canada.
Just squeaking that ball by right there. Humana-Paredes coming up with a huge hit in a timely manner. This is an important point to close out, or we go to overtime.
Humana-Paredes, youngest player out on court, serves Fendrick. That's been the tactic. Fendrick on the attack. Block from Sarah Pavan. A lovely 56-kilometer float serve from Humana-Paredes, relying on Pavan to just block it all out of the net. Mission accomplished. First set to Canada.
Scary for the Canadians. They started so well, and then they finished the same way they started, with the blocking of Sarah Pavan up at the net. Valiant effort by the United States to get themselves back into the mix. April Ross really forcing the issue, getting herself involved and catapulting her team to a position where they could have seen it go either direction.
Confirmation, Canada win the first set 21-19. It could have been a much bigger score if it were not for the determination from the American team. Canada were off to a flying start. America came back, dug deep, battled bravely, but just pipped on the last couple of points by the Canadians. Now let's take a look at the virtual reality graphic here. It's the USA serve placement against Canada. And the reason why we're looking at this graphic, Dane, is to see whether there needs to be a tactical change. Should they switch to Pavan with the serve rather than center and Humana-Paredes?
I love the way the United States is serving. 4 aces right there, that's all you can ask for. 4-0 for the United States. The problem is Pavan at the net is winning 5-0 in the blocking category.
First point on the board in set 2 for Canada. It's quite a simple calculation now for those of you that don't follow the rules of beach volleyball. The United States of America must win this second set to take it to a third tiebreaker. If Canada are successful in the second, it is all over, and the Canadians will go to the gold medal match. The Americans will battle it out with Brazil for bronze. Canada still chasing every point like it was the gold medal match. Absolute commitment from all 4 players on court.
This Canadian team has been elevating their game the entire 2017 season. This new partnership showing hustle, showing effort on every single play throughout the tournament.
Oh, wonderful athleticism for the tallest lady in the tournament to get down and dirty on the sand, dig that out, and finish it off. Great play from Sarah Pavan. She enjoyed it. You can see from the smile on her face.
Looked like she kind of mishit that, and April Ross kind of awkwardly jumps forward. She thought it was going to be hit with a little more velocity. Like I always say, Nick, mishits are sometimes the best hits.
Good over on 2 from April Ross off the back of that 54 kilometers per hour float serve from Pavan. That's just shy of 35 miles per hour. Service is now with the United States. The scores are all tied at 2 points all. Here's April Ross serving out of court.
Wow, she would rip that serve. That's a hybrid serve for April Ross. You know, she loves to not only serve a topspin ball, but also a jump float. That's what makes her so hard to read.
Oh, Pavan just put a little hand to that when she looked like she was trying to get away from it rather than touch it.
Pavan up at the block and gets used just out of bounds.
Scores all tied, 3-all. 1-0 for Canada. Fendrick serving Humana-Paredes. He's up and out of the sand and attacking. A little bit of lady luck from the net there. Hits the tape hard, falling the American side of the court. 7-point side switch, 1-point advantage for Canada.
See that beautiful bump set by Sarah Pavan. She's really been putting Humana-Paredes in the right spot. Best blocker in the tournament, Sarah Pavan. 25 blocks.
Oh, brilliant play. Well, when April Ross ever gets involved, Canada know they're in trouble. And that is why they are doing everything within their skill set to try and keep April Ross out of this match. 4 points all. Here it is, the Californian with service. Ross serving Pavan this time, who attacks for Canada. A 60-kilometer-per-hour float serve, but Pavan has got such confidence and such timing on the ball right now. Almost do no wrong.
Yeah, it's not like she's overpowering. She's placing the ball like a surgeon.
April Ross looks to finish for America. Over the top of the block of Pavan. Humana-Paredes could not make that one. All square at 5-all.
What a really nice poke shot right there. Seeing the height that she has to go over and putting it exactly on point.
Fendrick serving Humana-Paredes. Now the Canadian attacks. Cross court is easily covered by April Ross. Over on 2 for Fendrick. And the United States of America take the lead for the first time in the second set. That is important. They have to win this second set to stay in the match.
What a smart play by Lauren Fendrick. Keeping her balance, getting her feet underneath her, and then executing the winner right down the middle.
Fendrick, again with the same service option. Lovely shot. Now that is a rainbow with a capital R. Beautiful from Humana-Paredes. Look at this, up over the block. You think it's going out, and then it drops like a stone to hit the baseline.
That is called execution right there and hitting your spot. Humana-Paredes.
Service error from Pavan, giving the point right back to the USA, and they keep the advantage at 7-6.
There's a look at April Ross, 2009 world champion with Jen Kessie in Stavanger, Norway.
There's the break for the US, 8-6.
And finally, Lauren Fendrick getting involved at the net. It's been all Sarah Pavan up until now. Lauren Fendrick waits, she hangs, and then with the tips of the fingers, just throws that ball down at the last moment.
Good points run. Here's April Ross. 58 kilometers per hour speed on the float serve. Oh, and April Ross absolutely delighted to have got the better of Pavan at the net. The most successful blocker in the tournament. This time is beaten by the American to give the US a 3-point lead over Canada at 9-6. Timeout called by the Canadians, trying to stop the rhythm, stop the flow, or just a little communication between the two Canadian players.
I'm dropping my elbow, I think. He's coming in looking for the shot, I think. April's just sitting in 6. So either we can swing deep corners, or let's create some movement and you can go behind. And then that'll open up the 2-ball. If they serve me seam, I will. If they stick me out to my sideline, I'm going to say probably 1, maybe a double. Hey, we got it back right now. Here we go.
15 aces, second best server in the tournament for Lauren Ross. Now there's a stat that she'd love to hang her hat on by the end of proceedings tonight. Well, the timeout works. Float serve at 56 kilometers per hour, but it's too deep into the Canadian court. It's out of play, and justifying that call for the timeout by the Canadian team. Now, Humana-Paredes needs to get back into her rhythm and flow. Serves to the middle of the two Americans. Fendrick on the attack. Did that get a touch off? Yes. No, there's going to be a challenge. They think there was a touch off the block there of Sarah Pavan. Pavan's convinced she didn't touch it at all. Let's leave it to Hawkeye Dane.
It's always interesting to watch the demeanor of the players once the touch has happened or not. Sarah Pavan really didn't show any emotion afterwards. She knows if she touched it or not for sure. And let's take a look. Yeah, that left index finger touched the ball. So it's going to be point for the United States. Great call by Lauren Fendrick to use one of the challenges. You get 2 challenges. If you're successful, you don't lose one. You have to have 2 unsuccessful challenges to run out. So the United States will retain both of them.
Fendrick again serving Humana-Paredes, 52 kilometers per hour. Good angle on the ball, but April Ross has it covered. She goes over on 2, puts it out of play, and there is no challenge this time for a touch on the ball from Pavan at the net.
The Americans thought about it right there. They wanted to maybe call another challenge, and it's completely within their rights. I don't know if there's any real challenge etiquette that has been established by the players in terms of sportsmanship, but if you think the call has been wrong, you always got to break out the challenge.
Good play from the USA. Starting to take control of this second set, finding the answers to the Canadian game.
Lauren Fendrick up at the net, blocks it, but look at the quick reaction by Sarah Pavan. She gets that ball up in the air, and then Lauren Fendrick has the last laugh with a shot to the corner.
Another good service from Fendrick to Humana-Paredes, who attacks for Canada. Dropping off the net nicely, Fendrick. Now can she finish? Pavan does the same thing. Oh, a stumble in the sand from the young Canadian Humana-Paredes means that she misses out on picking up the playoff Pavan. Good advantage here for America, Dane.
Yeah, I love what I'm seeing. Remember, we started out the first set. Lauren Fendrick was getting blocked off the court by Sarah Pavan. April Ross got herself involved, and it started to be contagious. Now, Lauren Fendrick has elevated her game, and she's a different player. So the United States playing at an extremely high level, and when that happens, that's a sign of just a really spectacular player, April Ross, being the leader.
Well, almost picked out the nets brilliantly. Not sure going over on one was the best tactic for April Ross. And a valuable point lost for America going into the tech timeout halfway point of set two.
Yeah, that over on one, that's Laura Ludwig's shot. Maybe April Ross needs to look at that tape, huh? This is the spike placement for Canada. As you can see, the yellow balls are the winners. The green balls are returned. And as you can see, the placement, that kind of short middle seems to be where all the balls are landing, and that's where a lot of success is happening as well.
It's an interesting statistic. Well, back live here to center court. The technical timeout is a 30-second break. There is one per set, unless we go to a tie break, of course, as well as the teams being able to call a 30-second timeout of their own, one per set. United States of America coming back at Canada. They lost the first set, the US 19-21 against Canada. Now look at this. The real-time body sensor tells us 65 jumps and a huge kcal burn for Fendrick.
United States on point. They've turned things around from that first set, and Lauren Fendrick looks way more comfortable going up against Sarah Pavan. Looked very uncomfortable early on, has settled in.
Fendrick with service. Again, a very short, tricky serve to Humana-Paredes. Goes cross-court, April Ross covers nicely. April Ross attacks. April Ross scores for Canada. For America, I should say, 14-9.
April Ross, so much experience, 21 victories on the FIVB Tour. 10 of those coming with Jen Kessie, 11 with Carrie Walsh-Jennings.
Pavan needs to get back to her blocking best to pull Canada back into this second set.
It's a smart play going over on two before Lauren Fendrick can get to the net right there. Just a little bit late.
10-14, Pavan serving April Ross. April Ross really can do no wrong at the moment. She's having a terrific second set here.
April Ross, I always say it, so athletic, so physically strong, always making great decisions. Such a smart volleyball player.
April Ross with service. They stick to the game plan of targeting Humana-Paredes. And Paredes puts that one away, down the line nicely. Canada trailing the USA by 4, but Canada have won the first set 21-19. Pick up a few more points on service now, Canada. The young Canadian is there, but just a few centimeters short.
It's surprising to me how Canada has allowed April Ross to get so involved.
Yeah. She moves further and further over to Fendrick's side of the court when Canada serve.
And now it gets to be that time of the set where you really have to step it up. Down by 4 at 16-12. Canada cannot afford to give any more points away. They have to find out a way to score while they're serving, and the quickest way to do that is either an ace, and the second quickest way is Sarah Pavan up at the net as a blocker. April Ross steals another pass.
Good block from Pavan. That was how they controlled the first set, and can they get back into the second?
Yeah, that ball, fortunate Pavan was about a foot off the net, still got the block. This one goes to Fendrick. And she's successful right there. No fear, you know, even though she struggled early, that's a sign of a really solid player. The fact that she's made the adjustment. And right now, the United States, this is a commanding lead right here in this second set. I think we're going to get a third.
This time they serve Pavan with a 60-kilometer-per-hour float serve. And a lovely little touch from Fendrick. Now she's the lead player of the American duo, making everything count.
Smart decision. Gets her feet under, does a complete 360 it looked like, and then poked it to the great spot on the court.
Oh, that one is an ace serve. Not a lot of speed, but it really fooled the Canadians. Came up so short, unable to get the hands there.
That's one of those tactical serves. Short, right over the net. The defense, or reception, I should call it, is on their heels, and they just didn't respond quick enough.
Fourth ace for April Ross in this semi-final match. And that's a lovely shot from Humana-Paredes. And that will give her a little bit of confidence. She's had a bit of a tough run for the past 5-6 minutes or so. Lovely pokey.
April Ross laying it out. Let's be careful sometimes. There's the K-Cows, 75 jumps to 90 for Pavan.
Yeah, this real-time body sensor, special little chip in the back of each player's shirt, enabling us to look a little deeper into the performance of all 4 players on court. Well, Humana-Paredes thought that shot was going deep, but it's not. And look at this, Dane, in a matter of moments, the United States of America are in a set point position with 6 back-to-back set points ahead of them. Surely they've got this wrapped up now, and we're heading to a tie-break.
Wow, I think actually Lauren Fendrick took one off the face right there. Here comes Sarah Pavan, goes right head up. I think maybe she got her hands there in time, but Lauren Fendrick laughing it off. And when you're up 5 points and you have a comfortable lead, you can afford to smile a little bit.
Pavan with service. Set point again for the USA. They keep it going.
Big hit cross court. But the big question is, Is it a little bit too late here? Canada got themselves in such a big hole. The United States just has to receive serve and put it away one time. I think for sure we're gonna see that third set.
4.25 kCals, 1.8 kilometers of distance. 4.62, 1.7 kilometers of distance. Humana-Paredes and April Ross there on the real-time body sensor. There it is. Set number 2 goes to the United States of America. 21 points to 16. Setting up a tie-break clash to decide who goes up against the Olympic champions Ludwig and Volkenhorst in tomorrow's gold medal match. Great play from the Americans, Dane. Can Canada reconfigure the skills and game plan that they showed in the first, or can the momentum stay with the USA and they take this all the way to the end of the tie-break third set?
It'll be interesting as the sun sets here. The first 2 sets in the books, 21-19 for Canada, 21-16 for the United States. And the crowd still stays strong as we look at the match statistics. 6-1 in blocking for Canada, 5-0 for the United States in aces. And we've just witnessed the first loss in a set for Canada in the entire World Championships. 8 days we've been playing these World Championships. There's a couple days left, and to this point, Sarah Pavan, Melissa Humana-Paredes were perfect. They have just dropped their first set, and happening to the United States. The big question, can they recover from that? Because they haven't had to have that type of resilient play so far. They haven't been pushed or tested to the limit.
Here we go, set 3. We're only heading to 15. There will be no tech timeout to mark the halfway point, but each team has to win by 2 clear points. First point is on the board for the Americans, picking it up where they left off at the end of set 2, which they won 21-16. This is a real pressure moment for all 4 players on court, because the prize at the end of this game is the ultimate prize, a shot at World Championship gold. Out of play from Humana-Paredes. Another perfect 60 kilometer per hour float serve. That's just under 38 miles per hour.
And I truly believe that this is going to come down to blocks versus aces. Can Canada manufacture more blocks than they get aced by the United States? Because those have been the strengths so far to this point. Canada dominating the net, the United States dominating the service from the end line.
Sarah Pavan with service for Canada, sticking to their match tactic of serving Fendrick. But Fendrick is getting used to it, maybe getting the hang of it, because she floats that ball over the top of Pavan's block to go 3-1 ahead of Canada.
Great roll by Lauren Fendrick. You know, Lauren Fendrick, her best finish on the World Tour is 4th place. She has equaled it here at the World Championships, and she would love to climb all the way to the top of the podium and get a victory and become a world champion. Knocking on the door here in this 3rd set, sprint set. No technical timeout. Each team's got 1 timeout, and do not get stuck in a hole as the teams switch ends on increments of 5.
Humana-Paredes with service for Canada. Remember, just 24 years of age, out of Toronto. That's a service ace. Couldn't come at a more important time in this 3rd set tiebreak. Leveling the scores at 3 points all.
Maybe flipping the script on the United States. Maybe the points aren't going to come from Canada's block. Maybe they'll turn it up from the end line. That's their first ace of the match.
Frustrating for Humana-Paredes. She got the hands there, got the position right, just couldn't contain the ball. Fendrick, again, another big point score for the USA. And here's April Ross at the back of the American court, ready to play service. 35-year-old, residing in Costa Mesa, California. Serving right down the middle. Pavan picks it up. 60 kilometers per hour on the speed serve. And another good shot from Pavan. Scores tied once again at 4-all.
Nice play, Pavan. Whenever a blocker retreats, go at the blocker. You see, off balance, still moving is Lauren Fendrick. She's got to stop before that ball's hit if she's going to make the defensive play. Wow, changing directions. Humana-Paredes got the ball up, but it ends up way out of bounds. Pavan can't run it down. It's April Ross again terminating the play. This is going to come down to the wire, just like all the matches on center court. 26 blocks, more than 4 blocks per game for Pavan, leading the tournament, of course.
Fendrick with service for the USA. Another jump float serve. Pavan picks it up. Picked it out of the net by Humana-Paredes. Oh, lovely shot from Fendrick there. High enough to deceive the block, and a lovely little roll on the ball.
Little inside out, we call that wrist away. Shoulders facing one way, go the opposite direction. Even fools Humana-Paredes, who's a spectacular defender in the backcourt. Just the 5th FIVB Beach Volleyball Tour tournament for Lauren Fendrick and April Ross. A new team, of course, here in 2017.
Pavan with another good attacking play. Important side out for the Canadian duo.
This is the 8th tournament that Pavan and Melissa Humana-Paredes have played in. They also, as we mentioned, a new team in 2017. So both of these teams trying to find that chemistry and really trying to elevate their game as Lauren Fendrick goes over the top of the block. Canada, they have found their groove with a victory in Porridge a month ago, and over the last 4 tournaments, actually if you look at their last 6 events, they've been in the top 4, 5 out of those last 6 events. So talk about consistency, Nick.
Pavan over onto Humana-Paredes, gets hold of that 55-kilometer float serve from Fendrick. Big point for Canada. Here is Pavan with service, looking to tie the scores now. Up for the block. And a good call from Pavan. Screaming out as soon as she turned to watch the shot. Scores are all tied, 7-all. Heading to 15, not 21 in this third tie-break set. But the winning team still must be 2 points clear. Oh, and that is a painful service error from Sarah Pavan. Easy point on the board for the USA.
Well, you want to stay close, and both teams kind of watching their step, not letting the other team get any lead here in the third set. And that's why I believe this one will come down the wire, possibly go into overtime, the way these 2 teams are battling.
Nice set for Humana-Paredes, but April Ross has it covered, and now she attacks for the USA. Almost got the save, didn't she, the young Canadian? But it's a break for the USA once again at 9-7.
April Ross again coming aggressive, going right around that left hand of Sarah Pavan, and Humana-Paredes in the right spot, but just too much velocity on that one.
That is out of play, and that could be a big point, even the turning point for the USA in this third set at 10 to 7, and Canada immediately call a timeout.
3 points in a row. Remember, it was just 7-all, and now at 10-7, 5 points to go. Let's take a listen. There's a look at the statistics. 22-1 for Fendrick, 16 in 6 successful blocks for Sarah Pavan. But the United States has really thwarted this attack from Sarah Pavan at the net, and they've manufactured some points of their own, and now they're in what I would call a very good commanding situation in this third set. If they can just settle down, receive serve well, they'll be in great shape.
Pavan, 113 jumps, Fendrick, 95. The K-Cows, not too different. They've been working hard out there. Great to see this new innovational real-time body sensor starting to give us some intriguing information out on court in the heart of the action. Canada need points on the board here. Pavan with a beautiful block, but Fendrick reads it. Fendrick attacks, Pavan drops off the net. Over on 2 from Humana-Paredes. Now April Ross attacks. Cover again from the Canadian. Oh, spectacular rally, and it's not over yet. Fendrick sets the ball for Ross. And 11-7 for the United States of America. Rally of the match, possibly one of the best of the tournament, but the USA come out on top.
This is stunning right now. The Canadians kind of falling apart here in the third set, and it's due to the fact that the United States have stepped up their game. They're reading well. Beautiful block right there by Fendrick. And then April Ross comes in offensively, and you can't give her multiple chances because she is going to make you pay. That one off the top of the block, just barely, and then out of reach from Humana-Paredes. There's the fire and the emotion from April Ross. They're starting to taste the finals.
Lauren Fendrick with service for the USA. 4 clear of Canada. Over on 2 from Pavan. It's a big point for Canada. A crucial side out. Can they battle their way back into this tiebreak third set? Spike speed, 56.27 kilometers per hour. That's over 35 mph. Humana-Paredes with service. Serving Fendrick. April Ross with the set. Nice touch on the ball from Lauren Fendrick. She's coming to her own in the second part of this match, Fendrick Dane. Confidence now at an all-time high.
It's just incredible when you saw that leadership from April Ross early in the first set, and now Lauren Fendrick, she has her confidence. This team is on fire, and remember, a win here would be Lauren Fendrick's career best on the FIVB World Tour if she makes it to the final.
There's a nice, heavy, hard hit from the youngest player out on court by some way, 24 years of age, Melissa Humana-Paredes. Made that one count. 66.87 kilometers per hour. That's over 40 mph. Pavan needs that block to click now. Oh, and look at that from April Ross. Little kiss off the tape of the net, puts a different trajectory on the ball, Dane, catching the Canadians out.
Seems like everywhere the United States goes, it's the right spot. You can tell Lauren Fendrick starting to feel it. Getting closer with every play.
They are not going to give this up without a full fight here, Canada.
And if the United States can receive serve and get to 14, I think they will be in complete dominant fashion to win this. Give up this point, and you give Canada life.
Canada have life. 11-13. Pavan finds the block again.
And this time it happens against April Ross. That set maybe a little too tight, and Ross not getting her feet under the ball. The shot angle is completely shut down.
This time April Ross makes it count. Match point for the United States of America.
This is really huge. The United States wins here. They're assured of first or second, which means the first time on the podium for Lauren Fendrick. It's been a long career, and she can make it happen right here. 11 seasons Lauren Fendrick has been playing on the World Tour and never been in the final. So close right here.
April Ross looks to wrap it all up and head to the gold medal match tomorrow afternoon here in the Red Bull Arena and center court. Serves Humana-Paredes, who now attacks for Canada. Blocked at the net by Fendrick. The ball is still up. Tries again, the young Canadian. Cross court, it's out of play, and the United States of America are in the final of the 11th FIVB Beach Volleyball World Championships. April Ross did it in 2009, and playing like this, she may well do it again in 2017. That is a spectacular performance from the USA, losing the first set, coming back in the second, and wrapping up in the tiebreak.
You saw absolute domination. That was hunger right there. They wanted it bad, and they took it. Incredible.
Well, spectacular performance. I have to admit, I had Pavan and Humana-Paredes down as the favorites before this. Sheer determination, grit and fight is what has given Fendrick and April Ross a shot at gold here tomorrow afternoon in Vienna. They'll have to beat the Olympic champions from Germany, Lara Ludwig and Kira Volkenhorst, but if they can play like this tomorrow, the gold could be going back to California. Here's the last point that settled it. The young Canadian, Humana-Paredes, putting the ball out of play. Just a little too much weight on the cross-court spike. What a turnaround for the Americans. Canada will go up against Larissa and Talita of Brazil in the bronze medal match here on center court tomorrow. But the big one will be Germany against the United States of America. A chance of a second World Championship gold, as we said, for April Ross. Lauren Fendrick, no matter what the outcome of tomorrow's finale, it will be a career best. Confirmation, 2-1 to the United States of America, losing the first set 21-19, coming back with a vengeance, 21-16 and 15-11 to book a spot in the gold medal match. And look at the stats, 40-32 on the attacks, 5-1 on the aces. And that is the story that gives the United States of America the biggest match of the tournament to wrap things up, from the semis to the finals. Ludwig Volkenhorst, Fendrick Ross for the gold medal tomorrow. Let's go down to the center court and hear from Dame Blanton, who is with a very happy American duo. Of course, it's Fendrick and April Ross. Dame, to you.